We cannot be more generous than God. It's an impossible thing to do. No one exceeds God in generosity. Maybe some of you read the classical novel, The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. He's a Russian author and really profound and rather large novel to read. In that book, there's a story of an old woman who died and went to hell because she was so wicked in her life. But her guardian angel in heaven suddenly remembered that on one occasion she did give an onion to someone who was begging. So that act of generosity had been forgotten. And as a result of that one act of generosity, God had mercy on her. So her guardian angel then extended from heaven an onion in his hand, and the old woman grabbed onto the onion, and the angel was pulling her up out of hell as she's holding on to this onion. But as the woman was being pulled up, there were countless other people who were grabbing onto her, and they were also being pulled up out of hell. The woman became resentful that all these people were holding on to her, and they were also being pulled out of hell. So she began kicking them off one by one as they fell back into the flames. But with each person she was kicking off, the onion she was holding began to peel apart. And as she shook people off, the onion eventually peeled away, and she herself fell back into hell. What a nice story. It's a powerful story with a twofold message. Even one act of generosity is a valuable offering in God's eyes. That's what the book of Sirach is telling us. God looks kindly on whatever act of kindness we can show to another person. It may not be much, but it is still acceptable as an offering before God. Yet we should also realize that our acts of generosity must be accompanied by a loving heart. Obviously, the woman in this story did not have a heart filled with love of neighbor. So in the end, her one act of generosity that could have saved her was seen to be empty of meaning. Jesus says, "There is no one who is sacrificed or given of themselves for the sake of the kingdom who will not be rewarded." He was responding to Peter's statement that the apostles had given up everything to follow him. The truth is that whatever we sacrifice for the sake of the kingdom, for the sake of the gospel, will not go unnoticed by the Lord. Any act of kindness and mercy shown to another person because they are a child of God is an act that builds up the kingdom and contributes to our own salvation. But our motivation has to be love. Without love, our acts of kindness are empty. They're not authentic. And that's because Jesus has set the standard for what it means to give and what it means to be generous. His act of generosity on the cross was motivated by a deep love for us. So we are to follow his example if our acts of generosity are to be worth